Hey, what's up? This is Frank Mandolini of the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for checking this video and make sure to leave a thumbs up below. And in the description, you will find the link to follow me on all social media and on Spotify and Apple Podcast, which conveniently is the place where you should leave a 5-star review to help other people get into this wonderful podcast named Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much. Enjoy the video.
But Crockett Cup 2019 was my first live show, and I had been doing the podcast at that point for a little while, and I had stickers made up, and I was ready. I went to North Carolina and stood around handing out my stickers. I went all in, man. I bought the VIP package.
Yeah.
Like I was like meeting the talent, and that's where I first really met Nick Aldis and like face to face. He had actually called me right before Crockett Cup. They were trying to promote Crockett Cup, and I was doing the podcast. And mainly in the podcast, I would talk about some history stuff, or I would talk about. I would look for like whoever was on the roster right then, and kind of see like what their dates were coming up, because they're all kind of independent still, even though when they're in the NWA. So I would try to promote, like, say, like, Allison Kay is going to be here this next week, and the day after that she'll be in this place. Just try to boost the talent if I could, because that's what I figured I could do. And anyway, Nick actually messaged me and was like, "Hey, you're doing a good job with the podcast." I was like, "Well, thanks." And he's like, "Do you want to do an interview?" And I was like, "Sure." Yeah, I'd never even thought of that. I don't know, like and it blew my mind. I was like, wow, the champ's reaching out to me to do an interview. And I think we did an interview that, as you can tell from this interview, I'm very long-winded sometimes, but I think we talked for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours or something on that first interview. And then yeah, at Crockett Cup, I finally got to meet him. He was very kind. We were at a VIP meet and greet with him and Marty Skrull and Flip Gordon and Tom Latimer and Camille and just a bunch of people were in there. And Willie Mack was the national champion. Anyway, we were in there, and we were off to the races. Kind of like Nick Aldis was very cool, like showing me his gear for the next day, showing me photos of what the arena was going to look like. And I was like, wow, I'm like getting the backstage stuff now.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of cool.
Yeah, you were in a VIP position in one way or another.
Right.
So Nick was kind of cool with you, because we often hear stories that he has kind of a bad rep, but it's interesting to hear something different like this, to hear that he actually try to involve podcasters, media in general, because I think that something that people may not realize is that he is doing a lot of work behind the scenes as well, not just in the ring for NWA, right?
That's right. Yeah, Nick's all over the place. So Nick is I think the best way I've heard it explained was Billy the other day on an interview I was listening to, and I think it might have been Busted Open or something like that. He was on there, and they were asking like why Nick could get a job at NXT or possibly AEW or like whatever, like what he sees with the NWA. And Billy was like, well, first off, I guess we pay him well, but he also could go to those places. But Billy said he thought that Nick saw the NWA as a place to create his legend. Like, this is a place where he can do this. Like, he could go to NXT and maybe get lost in the crowd over there, or same with AEW or whatever. But in the NWA, he gets to kind of write his own story, and he gets to, if it succeeds, he's created his own legend, in that way. And I think that's it with Nick. I think that Nick cares a lot, and I'll be the first to tell you, I mean, I consider him kind of a friend now, but he you know, I don't know if you're listening, Nick, I don't want to speak out of turn, but yeah,
It doesn't look like from your exchange on social media.
you're right. Yeah, we get very adversarial on our exchanges. But it's with love that I criticize my friend.
Yeah.
But no, he's always been good to us. He reached out to me first. He was, you know, very cool with the VIP thing. We stayed in touch after that. And he obviously saw something that I'd like to think he thought that I could help them too, you know, like that this was a good thing. And this is the kind of thing they want. Well, I mean, so, you know, you mentioned the hashtag NWA fam. It was, I think that was one thing I thought of like right at the beginning is like, get a core base of fans that care, you know, and I think he thought the same thing too. And he saw that happening. And I think he appreciated that was something maybe he wouldn't be able to tackle because of his position. And, but you know, fighting on the ground, here I am, and I can, maybe we can round up people and create like a community around it.